Thank you for coming. We are being broadcast live on YouTube, and we also will be broadcast on our cable channels for a long time to come, and the rest of this will probably go on to social media. Clerk Wright, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Boyd. Here. Trustee Miller. Trustee Martin. Here. Trustee Frazier is excused, absent. Treasurer Blunt.
Here.
Clerk Wright is present. Supervisor.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. I'm not going to give an executive summary. We're here to honor our police department and our director. So let's keep on moving. Down to adoption of the agenda. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
Through the chair, make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
Supported by Mr. Wright. Is the clerk right? I have a motion. I have support. Hearing no discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Adoption of the consent agenda. Trustee Miller.
The adoption of the consent agenda will be as follows. 1, board meeting minutes of February 1st, 2022. 2, prepaid list of February 3rd, 2022. 3, prepaid list of February 10th, 2022. 4, voucher list of February 15th, 2022. 5, approval of the reappointments of Jim Chadinsky and Joyce Wahoviak, along with Valen Willis to the Van Buren Township Downtown Development Authority with terms to expire March 9th, 2026.
Okay. Trustee Boynton, second. Okay, I have a motion. I have a second. There is no discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes again. I do want to mention that Jim Chadinsky, Joyce Wahoviak, Valen Willis are all back on the DDA, and we thank them for their service over the last year. Moving on to public hearing, we have none. We are now into correspondence, announcements, and presentations. We are very excited here to call Director Lorraine to begin a presentation for the accreditation of our police department. Director Lorraine, when you come up, you're allowed to take off your mask. Thank you.
Board, audience, and our viewers at home. What a great day for Van Buren Township Police Department today and our community. I'm very proud to stand before you this evening to acknowledge and celebrate our police department's most recent accomplishment and receive recognition for the Michigan Law Enforcement Accreditation Commission. Our police department has been working hard towards state accreditation now for over 3 years, and we are very glad to be here tonight to be recognized for such a great accomplishment for our department and community. Our agency had to comply with 105 standards and over 400 tasks in order to gain and maintain accreditation status. Accreditation lasts for 3 years, during which the agency must submit annual reports showing continued compliance to maintain accreditation status. This voluntary accreditation process provides guidelines on police best policies, strengths of our agency, accountability both within the agency and community through a continuum of standards. Furthermore, accreditation demonstrates that our department is committed to providing the highest quality of service to our citizens and staff by implementing the best practices and standards in our profession. Of course, this would not be possible without the extraordinary effort of our department members as a whole and our accreditation team here tonight. I would like to acknowledge our team accreditation manager, Sergeant Lewis Keel. Please come up. Officer Adam Berg and Chief Jason Wright and myself. Just recently, on February 8th, 2022, members of the Van Buren Police Accreditation Team formally met in front of Law Enforcement Accreditation Commission in Grand Rapids, Michigan, during the Michigan Association. After being interviewed by the commission panel, a motion was made and unanimously supported by the panel for the approval of accreditation for the Van Buren Police Department. Before I introduce tonight's guests, I want to leave you with a startling statistic. Our police department is one of 42 law enforcement agencies out of 583 to be accredited in the state of Michigan. This means that we're in the top 7% law enforcement agencies within the state of Michigan to receive this honorable accreditation. This evening we have with us Robert Stevenson, Director of Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police. Neil Rosso, Director of Professional Development and Accreditation Program. And Chief Ronald Wiles, President of the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police. They will be officially presenting our agency for their certificate of police accreditations as this evening.
Before he gets going, me and Bob go back quite a ways here. This is 4 decades, right? So when I was just a youngster, I was playing in West Virginia College. So I worked at college for a couple of years. Me and Bob worked the same unit. Back then, we looked a little bit different. We had beards, we had earrings. Bob had a ponytail, he had hair. So I got to dance this a little bit. So Bob, I've been around for quite a while.
Township supervisors, trustees, township officials, and members of the public that may be listening in. My name is Robert Stevenson, Executive Director with the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police. And as a director, as mentioned, in my previous career, I spent 37 years with the Lorraine Police Department. And I bring greetings and salutations from the members of the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police, and I'm here speaking for the Michigan Law Enforcement Accreditation, where shortly we will award the official certificate of accreditation to the Van Buren Township Police Department. This is a significant professional achievement, and as the director had mentioned, a ton of work goes into this. In my position, I have the opportunity to travel around the state, and I see lots of police departments. And you probably already know this, but you have an excellent police department. I often say, though, you don't have to be sick to get better. And accreditation improves every single police department that goes through this process. It's no secret that these have been challenging times for many law enforcement agencies in the state of Michigan and around the country with some of the events that have taken place. And there's been a lot of calls for what they say are police reform and things that the public wants police departments to do. Your department was already involved in doing every single one of those police reform issues that you hear calling about before any of this incidents had occurred around the country and the calls for improvement were put out. So your department has voluntarily done this. Nobody made them do this. They stepped up. They were leaders. And as the director said, there are some 600 police departments in the state, and of those 400 are municipal agencies, and of those municipal agencies, yours is only the 42nd in the state of Michigan to achieve that. So you've done what 90% of the other police departments have not been able to do. And as I said, when I first got here, this is a certificate that's awarded. We're not here to give a certificate out. You have to earn the certificate. Now I'm going to introduce Neil Rosso, who is the director of the accreditation program.
Well, I think it's a real honor for me to be here. I got to do a lot of pretty neat things. I think one of the most enjoyable things that I did in my career is to come to a community and tell them that they have a good police department. So it's also an honor to be here because the chief and the director are colleagues and friends of mine from the FBI National Academy. So they were early ones to enter the process. I don't want to say that the director of the program might just lead them slightly. I mean, the amount of work that needed to be done. But they took it under control, and you're all kind of familiar with accreditation. As your children went to accredited schools, you're treating an accredited hospital and probably went to an accredited college. So accreditation involves a group that's close to a profession that sets standards for that profession. And then there's an outside group that makes sure they're meeting it. So there's 105 standards, as the director said. They have to take those standards, take the written directives as they lie, and then rewrite those to meet the standards. And then the key to that is not only do they have to rewrite those to national and state standards, but they also have to create these things we call proofs. And these proofs alert outsiders, our two commission assessors, that they're following the written directives that follow the standards. So this is a big accomplishment for the state. That's my privilege. I'll introduce the President of Michigan Association Chief of Police, Chief Ron Wiles. Thank you.
Well, good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. My name is Ron Wiles. I'm the Chief of Police in Grambling Township, from Genesee County. I'm the President of the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police, and it is an absolute honor to be here today. I get to go and do some pretty neat things in this position as President, but this is certainly one of my favorites. Like Neil said, getting to go around and tell people that the police department where I'm at, to do an excellent job, you should be very proud. Accreditation is a significant professional accomplishment. It will make this department better, make your community safer. Again, that's something we all want to achieve. As mentioned, they are leaders in this process. This isn't done overnight. It is a process. I can tell you firsthand the amount of time, commitment, and effort that it takes to achieve this. So with that, Director, you all will see the certificate. Know that the Van Buren Township Police Department has voluntarily complied with the standards established by the Michigan Law Enforcement Accreditation Commission, deemed essential for the delivery of professional police services and the protection of their community, hereby awarded the certificate of accreditation, good for a term of 3 years. Congratulations. Thank you.
I guess it would be great myself.
You don't put the cameras away. Did you guys put a light up here a week behind you? Oh, yeah,
You guys gotta shrink down this a little
no. All right, all set. Yeah, I guess I should say a few words and then let the board say a few words too. Do you have anything else, Mr. Director Lorraine? Yes. Our first discussion that Director Lorraine and I had were over what vision we were going to have. And Director Lorraine suggested this crazy vision of going after accreditation that I had just spent 3 years listening to Tom Yak brag about. You know, like, possible, they were going to get it. And I'm looking thinking, can Van Buren actually do this? I didn't know. Well, it turned out we had a couple of years of rebuilding infrastructure before we could even try. But I'm just overwhelmed that you guys did this. It's incredible. And I know that you already ordered stickers to put on the cars.
I'll be a photo op somewhere.
I was going to ask the board if they had anything else to say, but did you want to say something else? You did.
As everybody knows, I'm retiring in a week, and it's 40 years of service, and I can't think of a better way to end my career than have this team like icing on the cake here. I wish I could take all the credit, but I can't. It was the department as a whole that did this. These guys behind me, Adam and Louie, did the heavy lifting. Jason would have been possible to even think about this unless we had him on board. So it's it was a all team effort, obviously. But I think this will be great for our community. I know we had a lot of discussion about whether we do this or not. I think you guys are all glad now that we do it, that we have done it. And it's going to be.
I was for it all the time.
Yeah.
I never wavered. And I guess, yeah, nothing's more important than our police department. Security is number one, always has been. So, and it was a mountain climb there to keep us on track and your vision. And I know Adam was in here at all hours, and everybody else was running around it. It's interesting because I hear people, the cops say, oh, I forgot to check the seatbelt or something like that. I mean, there's policies that they have to do, like check seatbelts on prisoners to make sure that the seatbelt's firmly clasped and then they pull it back. Just all these things that they have to do that you don't even think about. There's an added because of these 105 different principles. So it's kind of interesting to talk about.
Things have changed in 4 years, haven't they, Sherry, since part-time?
Somebody else wants to say? I would like this Director Lorraine, the accolade that he deserved in the department for achieving this incredible accommodation. I'd like to go back let's go back 14 years, right at 14 years ago. I was designated the township risk manager. And with that task, it comes with going out talking to all the departments and especially public safety. But at that time when I came in, we had a file cabinet so long, and half of it was public safety lawsuits. But I want to tell you that I have a cabinet now for lawsuits, and I think I may have one in there. That's the accomplishment that they have achieved over the years. That just let you know that anything is achievable if you put in the time and the effort. And everything that I've brought to the department, Director Lorraine, Deputy Director, right? Anyone over there, anything that I've brought, any task that I gave him in regard to risk, he accepted it, and he brought it forward, made sure his officer abided by it. I told him that these things are only going to lower the risk for the department, the risk for the township, and we have. We pay less insurance than we used to. We used to have a budget. We used to have a training annual budget of $450,000 to $500,000 a year. Now we set that budget around $200,000, and we never use all of it. It's just a major accomplishment that the department has. I've seen achieved, and I've seen that growth over the 14 years. It's not this combination that just tops it off. I've actually seen the growth that you guys have achieved over the years. And I just like to let you know I appreciate it. I know the township appreciates it, and not only that, your residents is going to appreciate it also, because that's a major accomplishment to let you know that they are in good hands of good people. Thank you.
I'd like to see.
Sure.
First of all, I just want to say that I'm just totally grateful that all of you took on this huge endeavor, because I know what it takes. And I remember talking to you when you first initiated this, and I thought, wow, can they pull this off? And yet you have. What it says for the community is that our police department is even a greater asset to all of you and all that you serve. And I've known you now over 12 years. Can you believe that? And it's been such a pleasure working with you and getting to know you, and I will miss you dearly.
I guess I would like to say, I mean, I knew Greg when he came on board. I was probably only a few more months ahead of him as being hired here, and he was a reserve police officer, and our poor guys only got $1 a year just so they could keep their registration. You remember that, right? And then I was very proud when he was sworn in as an officer, and the others that had hung in with us till we could make them all full-time officers. And it's something, but he's probably one of the only ones left in that position where he started out with us, and now he's going to end his career with us. I don't like saying goodbye, so I'm not going to say goodbye, but I'm so proud of what you've done for the township and what you've done for this department. Thank you so much.
We're not doing the retirement just yet, but let's see, no.
Kudos to the Van Buren Police Department. This was a monumental task that you took on, and you succeeded. And the real winners here are the residents of Van Buren Township
and they can know that we have reached a higher level of policing and to actually serve and protect us as you have been sworn to do. So I thank you for your hard work. Keep Lorraine, Director Lorraine, thank you for your hard work.
I don't know.
Well, gentlemen, it's not a whole lot that I can say that has already been said. Congratulations, and probably the only person on the board, but be that as it may, speaking from personal experience, being a member of the law enforcement community, as I have been for quite some time, I know exactly firsthand what you all went through. And it deserves nothing but the highest regards from the township. And it is truly another feather in the hat of what we call ourselves, which we are proving to be, which is a premier community. We love our police, we love all of our services. And I just have to say thank you so very much. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I know I get beat up on social media because I use the word premier a lot to try to describe what we're trying to get to. But we have a premier police department, and if you don't believe us, talk to the state of Michigan, the Chiefs of Police Association. Thank you very much, Director Officers. Did the officers want to say anything? I know Adam put in a lot of hours. Oh, Louis did too. Mr. Director, Detective Keel.
I think we should have something on the meeting, don't know accreditation manager, but it's the president of our union council.
And I think you're going to be maintaining that position almost harder to keep this accreditation.
It is, well, good evening, board. This is a win for the community. So many police departments, when the director Lorraine asked me to take on to be accreditation manager, I was happy being a road officer, talking to the community. I was like, for what, like me? But he trusted Sergeant Kill and I to do a lot of the work. But I mean, he's not the person to take a lot of accolades, him or the chief. But when we could go to those command officers and say, we need this change, because it's not just good for our department, but it's good for the community. There's hours of labor that comes in to evaluate every change. And when you're doing 400 tasks times 2, because you have to have 400 tasks for written directives and 400 proofs, you're doing 800 items in 365 days. It takes a lot of commitment. And our department was able to achieve that commitment through hard work. And I really thank the executives for trusting us with it. I thank our union membership to execute all these policies that they need to execute. And I thank the board for really understanding the amount of work that it took to get the job done. It's been a blessing. We now are accredited police department, the top 7% in our law enforcement community. So that really says a lot. And I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you, Director Lorraine and Chief Wright, for trusting us to be able to do a lot of work, because it takes a lot of trust, because you are working off hours to get the job done. So I had excellent sergeant, excellent executive team, and excellent police department as a whole that wanted to see the accreditation process come to a conclusion. And so we are an accredited organization now. I am going to be proud of it. It's not being a police officer, union president, but I'm very proud to be a resident of a community that now has an accredited police organization. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I started the accreditation process under the direction of Director Lorraine and Chief Wright. They came to us with a vision and a commitment and pulled me into it. I heard a number of you guys say it was going into your worship, we were going to pull it off. You should have been much. But it was a long road, but they stayed committed to the course. Anything we needed, they were there for us, the entire department, and that goes to the entire department. we're the guys standing up here accepting the accolades, but the entire department had to go through the entire change. And I can't say enough about our department, our officers. They embraced it. It wasn't always fun. They didn't always understand it, but they did what they had to do so we could meet this goal, and they did a fantastic job. Very proud of them.
Good evening, board. This is a very exciting moment for all of us, all of you and all of us. And I go back to probably 28 years ago. I'm working for the city of Wayne. I'm in a squad car, and the guy I'm riding with says, "Hey, if you're going to leave Wayne, where would you go?" So I said, "Well, I go out to Van Buren Township. They're going to be building all kinds of houses out there." So this is like 28 years ago. And then I fast forward to 2014, and I had the opportunity to retire as the chief there and come here. So I'll always be grateful to Van Buren Township for bringing me on board and being able to work with these guys. And so then, you know, when I come on board, Greg tasks me with, "Hey, I want to redo the policy manuals. I started it, but I want to redo it." And so the policy manuals were completely revamped with the help of these guys and the rest of the department. And it was a very long process. That was that prep work that we had to do before we could even start the accreditation. Then we start the accreditation, and you've all heard the stories of the difficulties we were confronted along the way. Some of them were things we couldn't control. They were software issues, they were COVID, they were all kinds of things that slowed us down. But the biggest thing that came through all of these adversities was the tenacity of the department and the officers. And again, it wasn't just the four of us. I mean, yeah, we were steering a lot of things and directing, but the entire department had to work on this at every level, from the patrol officer that's working the street that has 1 year on the job, all the way up to director of Lorraine and all of us in between. So again, it's very exciting. This is a very important moment in time, I think, at Van Buren Township, when you talk about us having a part-time department and having people stick around. I know Sergeant Keel was one of the ones that you're probably talking about sticking in there. He's on the verge of something great or something. I can't remember the saying that was something good. Yeah. Again, it all paid off, and here we are. And again, this is just the beginning. These guys are still going to be maintaining the requirements that we have to keep up. We are still going to be spot checked each year. And then we're going to have to go through on the third year a full on-site, just what we went through just now. And I am sure that this next time around is even going to be tougher, because they're going to say, "Hey, you guys got through this the first time. You should know the ropes." It is going to be probably extremely intense. And so it's our job to stay on top of this so that we can be in front of you guys in 3 years doing the same thing again. This is very important to all of us.
Thank you. Does anybody else? I think it's a big round of applause. Thank you. Have a seat. We got bring it Director Lorraine up, back up in just a minute though. First of all, I'm going to call for public comment. Is there anybody that wishes to comment on anything? Jake? No? Next is unfinished business.
I just wanted to share a public comment from the public participation link was from HR Director Nicole Sumter, just saying, "So proud of you all. Congratulations to the police department."
We have no unfinished business. The next item is discussion on to consider approval of a resolution honoring Director Greg Lorraine for 40 years of service to the Van Buren Township. The gentleman will begin with an motion for approval, and Sherry, you know it along with how we make that.
I certainly would love to make the motion that we approve resolution 2022-02 honoring Director Greg Lorraine for his 40 years of service to Van Buren Township and the community.
Clerk Wright, you've known the second one, as soon as you want to support. All right, Director Lorraine, could you come up? I don't know if you want to bring Chris with you. Absolutely. All right. So at any rate, the Board of Trustees has made a resolution off for you, and I will read the resolution into the record. We will then do a presentation of a plaque. We did a plaque so that it wasn't horribly gaudy. So we're gonna put it up somewhere instead of hiding it. And then we did something gaudy so that he can put it over the fireplace. All right. This is the Van Buren Township Resolution honoring Director Greg Lorraine for 40 years of service to Van Buren Township. Whereas Greg Lorraine began his law enforcement career with Van Buren Township Police Department as a reserve officer in 1980. He became a patrolman in 1981, and he was among the original class of full-time police officers in the Van Buren Police Department. And whereas Greg Lorraine was promoted to detective sergeant in 1986, where he served supervising personnel and investigating cases generated by road patrol officers. And whereas Greg Lorraine is a graduate of Northwestern University's Police Staff and Command School in 2005 and was chosen to attend and graduated from the prestigious FBI National Academy, a distinct honor that is only a few select law enforcement officers can attest to, can have. Greg Lorraine was promoted to patrol captain in 2006, where he was responsible for all administration support of the police department. That included the management and the supervision of the department's personnel from the Detective Bureau, the Special Investigative Unit, the Records Section, the Dispatch K-9, Marine Unit, was that. Greg Lorraine has enjoyed a well-rounded career serving in numerous capacities with gradually progressive responsibilities within the department, such as he was the police reserve patrolman, went to detective sergeant, went to captain, of course, went to the director. Greg Lorraine went on to lead the entire department, being appointed as public safety director in 2013, and he's honorably and faithfully served in that position since. Greg Lorraine has served in numerous leadership roles within law enforcement, other than ours. He served in the Western Wayne County Special Operations Team. That's SWAT team for everybody else. He was 10 years as the SWAT team commander. He was a drug enforcement agency, airport interdiction team, and he was the Michigan State Police narcotic team. Greg Lorraine is the president of the FBI NAA, FBI Michigan chapter, and the past president of the Wayne County Chiefs of Police Association. He serves as an active member of the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police, the Southeast Michigan Chiefs of Police, and the Wayne County Chiefs of Police. Whereas Greg Lorraine has a reputation for a strong work ethic, integrity, honor, and an uncompromising devotion to the Van Buren Township Public Safety Department. He does. Whereas through the leadership of Greg Lorraine as director, Van Buren Police Department became the elite law enforcement agency today, earning accreditation in 2022 through the Michigan Law Enforcement Accreditation Commission, becoming one of only 42 of Michigan's 583 law enforcement agencies to have achieved accreditation to date. So therefore, be it resolved, the Van Buren Township Board of Trustees as Board of Trustees recognize Greg Lorraine's 40 years of exceptional service, his distinguished career, his commitment to public safety, and service to the residents, families, and businesses of Van Buren Township. Further resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby recognize and commend Greg Lorraine, who has dedicated himself to the highest standard of professionalism in his 40 years of exemplary service to Van Buren. And we congratulate him on his retirement and wish him and his family all the best in the future. Thank you. Right over the fireplace. Oh, that's why.
get you up in front of the board.
Yeah, let's why don't we come down with you? If you don't mind. Come on. All together. Big part. Yeah. Sure. What are we talking about? Pictures or you just okay.
Well, my finger wasn't moving.
That big enough?
Oh.
Is Chris gonna let him put you over the fireplace? No. Then people went a little nuts.
Beautiful. Well done.
So it's your turn. Then it's their turn.
You always think when it comes time and you finish your career, kind of think, what words you always say? And the old cliche is that it's been a bittersweet ride. It's been more sweet than anything over these 40 years. Obviously, as a patrolman and one of the ranks being around here, I've faced many challenges. But if I had to do it over again, I'd do the same thing. I think law enforcement in general is the most noblest profession you can get into. And even today and today's times, I still believe that. My success, I guess, over the years, I contribute to a lot of people that I've worked with, that I had as mentors. But my biggest supporter and cheerleader is my wife, Christina. She's been there through thick and thin, bad times, good times. And, you know, it takes a really good woman to be behind a successful man. And I cherish being a police officer here. I was honored to be your public safety director in 2013. She thought I was crazy at times, but I wasn't ready to quit, and I think I had a little bit more to give. And I'm glad I stayed. And I did. I remember the first time we had a mandatory department meeting, and I kind of laid out my vision for the department, what I wanted to do and accomplish. And one was I told them at the very end, you know, not only is there going to be accountability in the department, but I'm going to leave this department better than when I started. Not that it was bad in the first place, but I wanted to do something. I knew the policies were the big thing. It's the foundation of any police department. If you don't have your house in order, you don't have a house. So, like I said, with the help of many people here, my chief, Jason Wright, was an integral part of all this. And, you know, like the afterthought, as soon as we finished the policy, you know, hey, let's do accreditation. It's like, hey, let's do something else. And we took on that task, and it's great. So it is bittersweet. What a way to leave the department, being on top like we are. You're going to be in good hands with Chief White, good friend of mine, best friend of mine. We've been working together for years beyond Van Buren, and he's going to take you to that next level. Whatever it may be, he's taking you to that next level. That's the kind of guy he is. So thank you again for the accolades this evening, the plaques. And I'm not going anywhere. I'm still in the township. I don't plan on moving. We have a place in South Haven. We'll do our
summer thing, visit and stuff, but always here be at Van Buren. Always be here to support public safety and the township board. So thank you again very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I can go real quick.
I'd like to say very quick. Director Lorraine, I just want to wish you all the happiness and anything, if happiness and anything else that goes along with retirement. 40 years was a big accomplishment. You've done a lot for the township. I know everyone here appreciates, the residents appreciate it. And you've always been a gentle, respectful, kind person with me. We always got together. We've done a lot of fun things together. So I just want to say congratulations to you and the business, and you guys get to see more of each other and enjoy life. So again, just kudos, congrats.
Thank you.
You'll be missed.
Yeah. Actually, it was when I first met him, I said, I learned one thing in life. A person in your position, I could be the happiest politician or mayor supervisor in the world. But within 15 seconds, you could turn my life into hell.
He did say that. He did say that.
So I gotta say, you never did. You're just such a rock. You're so steady, and you kept things running the way they were supposed to, like, Swiss Army watch or whatever. It's just amazing. I want to really thank you for 5 excellent years, for taking this department to heights that I don't think a lot of people thought that they could have. And I don't think they believe in themselves enough to do it, but they had it, and they did it, and they're amazing, and they're going to keep it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess on kind of a funny note, I guess I always want to remember, because, I mean, they were all part-time reserve officers when I first started, or when Greg first started, and one of our union negotiation meetings, I'm sure Greg remembers, the attorney said, well, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it is a duck, and darn, you gotta make a full time. And I've always been so proud of our department. Just can't say enough. It's just the ones that have stayed with us, the ones that have left, we've missed, and we're glad you're here, and you will be missed. Thank you.
Director Lorraine, thank you so much for your years of service. You've done a great job taking this department forward, and I'm sure you left it in good hands, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
And another note, Christine, thanks for sticking with her. Now you got a full time, really stick with
Yeah.
us.
Thank you.
Well, that's why I said, she's going in for back surgery in a week or so. And one of my friends said, well, why? It's because she's been carrying you for 40 years.
Since we're almost done with this meeting, we have to call a vote. I would like to call a roll call vote for approval of the resolution.
Trustee Miller,
Of course, yes.
trustee Martin,
Yes.
trustee Boyd, trustee Frazier is excused and absent. Trustee Bud,
Yeah.
of course, a yes for me, supervisor.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you. Okay. We'll move on now then. We now have public comment again. Does anybody wish to make comments? No? Okay. Does anybody in the board wish to make any comments?
I do.
Okay.
I need to make an announcement that should be made. I'd like to announce that the township offices will be closed Monday, February 21st, in observance of our President's Day.
We get a lot of these. Let's see. All right. All right. Anybody else have anything else? Call for adjournment. Have a motion by Martin, supported by Miller. All in favor?